Hi friends, I'm Mr. Y. Today's big question is one that a lot of people are asking right now. What is actually going on with the 2026 World Cup, and why is everyone calling it the biggest one ever? Grab a seat, because once you see what changed, you will never watch it the same way again. Let's find out together. First, the basics. The World Cup is the biggest soccer tournament on the whole planet. Every 4 years, countries from all over the world send their very best national team, and they all play to lift one shiny golden trophy. Billions of people watch. It is, quite simply, the largest sporting event there is. And here is what makes it so special. Soccer needs almost nothing to play, just a ball and a little open space. That is why it is loved everywhere, in giant cities and in tiny villages alike. For 1 month, people who speak different languages and live thousands of miles apart all cheer at the very same moment. No other event on earth brings people together quite like it. Now, for a long, long time, the World Cup followed one simple recipe. 32 teams, one host country, 64 games. That recipe stayed almost the same for nearly 30 years. If you watched the World Cup as a kid, that is the version you remember. But in 2026, the recipe changes in a big way. And to understand why it matters, let's look at three things that are different. The first big change is the number of teams. It used to be 32. Now, 48. That is 16 extra teams, 16 more countries getting a chance to play on the world's biggest stage. Think of it like a party, where the guest list suddenly grew by half. More countries, more flags, more fans, and more stories. The second big change is the host. Normally, one single country hosts the whole tournament. But 2026 is the very first time that three countries are hosting together: the United States, Canada, and Mexico. One tournament, stretched across an entire continent. Imagine a birthday party so big that it can't fit in one house, so it spills into your house, your neighbor's house, and the house all the way down the street. And it is not just three countries, it is 16 different host cities, from Mexico City to Toronto to New York. 16 cities, all decorated, all packed with visiting fans from around the globe, all hosting world-class games. The third big change is the number of games. With more teams, you need more matches. The old World Cup had 64 games. The 2026 one will have 104. That is 40 extra games of soccer. So, if you love the sport, this is the most World Cup you have ever gotten. Now, here is a great question. Why did they make it bigger? Why not leave a good thing alone? Well, here is the idea. Soccer is played in every single corner of the world, but only a few countries ever got to go. By adding more spots, more nations, smaller countries that had never qualified before finally get their shot. It is a way of saying the whole world plays this game, so the whole world should get to come. That is the heart of it. And speaking of getting in, how does a team even earn a spot? They don't just show up. For 2 whole years before the Cup, teams play special matches called qualifiers, right in their own part of the world. Europe has its qualifiers, Africa has its own, South America, Asia, and so on. Only the winners punch their ticket to the big tournament. So by the time the World Cup starts, every single team there has already earned its place. Okay, so we have 48 teams in 3 countries. But how do you actually run a tournament that huge without it turning into total chaos? Let me show you how the new format works. It happens in 2 parts. Part 1 is called the group stage. The 48 teams get split into 12 little groups, with 4 teams in each group. Inside each group, every team plays the others. It is like sorting kids into lunch tables, where each table plays among itself first. The teams that do well at their table move on. The ones that lose too much go home. Here is how that feels in real life. Picture your country drawn into a group with three others. You play all three of them, one by one. Win your games, and you march on to the next round. Lose them, and sadly, you pack your bags and go home early. Every group is its own little battle, before the real fight even begins. Part 2 is the really exciting part, the knockout stage. Now it is win, or you are out. No second chances. The 2026 World Cup even adds a brand new round here, called the Round of 32. That is, 32 teams all playing do-or-die games on the same ladder. Win, and you climb up. Lose, and your World Cup is over. Round by round, the ladder gets smaller. 32 teams, then 16, then 8, then 4, then 2. And those final 2 teams play the grand final, where one country finally lifts that golden trophy in front of the entire world. You might be wondering, how long does all of this take? About a month. The tournament kicks off in the summer of 2026, and for roughly 4 weeks there are games almost every single day. It opens with a huge celebration, and it ends, about a month later, with that one grand final. A whole month where, for millions of people, soccer becomes the most important thing in the world. And about that trophy, it really is something special. It is made of solid gold. It stands about 1.5 feet tall, and here is the magical part. The winning country only gets to hold it until the next World Cup. No team keeps it forever. They have to win it all over again. So, what does all of this actually mean for you, watching at home? A few wonderful things. It means more games on more days, so there is almost always a match to watch. It means games happening in many different cities, across 3 countries, which also means different time zones, so the same game might be morning for one fan and evening for another. And it means more of those magical underdog moments where a tiny country that nobody expected suddenly beats a giant. History is full of them, small teams that stunned the world and became legends overnight. Those are the moments people remember for the rest of their lives. Let's put it all together. The 2026 World Cup is the biggest one in history. 48 teams instead of 32, 3 host countries instead of 1, and 104 games instead of 64. It grew so that more of the world could play, and that is why people are calling it the most ambitious World Cup ever made. So the next time someone says the World Cup feels different this year, you will know exactly why, and you can explain it to them. And that, my friends, is the very best feeling there is. If you learned something new today, do me a quick favor and tap that subscribe button. It really helps, and it means I get to keep answering your questions. I'm Mr. Y. Keep wondering, and I will see you in the next one.